Hello students, welcome back to our video. So in the last video we were discussing about the procedure for the formation of a company. In that the last thing that we discussed was about the memorandum of association and the various clauses which are compulsory to be added in the memorandum of association. Now let's discuss about the articles of association. So what is an article of association? So it is a document determining rules of internal administration of the company. Rules for the administration of company are mentioned in the articles within the boundary of the memorandum. It includes rights of the members, share installment, share forfeiture, powers of board of directors, and etc. Both the documents, memorandum and article of association become public document after their registration. So article of association, it is also a kind of document like memorandum of association, but article of association contains the rules of internal administration of the company. And the rules for the administration of company are also mentioned in articles within the boundaries of the memorandum of association. And this includes rights of the members, share installment, share forfeiture, powers of the board of directors, and etc. So both the document after the registration, memorandum of association and article of association becomes public document after their registration. So this is the article of association which contains the rules of internal administrations of the company. Now third one is list of directors. That means the list of persons who are ready to work as directors is to be registered before registrar of companies along with their name, address, age, business, nationality, and etc. Minimum one person must be as a female director in the board of directors. So the list of the persons who are ready to work as director is also needed to be submitted before to the registrar of the companies along with the name, address, age, business, and nationality. And out of the board of directors, minimum one person should be the female director in the board of directors. Then fourth one is written consent of directors. That means those persons whose names are mentioned as directors have to give a written consent that they are ready to work as directors. So whoever is ready to work as director, they have to give a written consent, means written agreement that they are ready to work as directors for that company. Then fifth one is declaration of interest in other company. If the directors of company, manager, and secretary or subscriber have interest in other company, have to file a statement regarding it. Then, and the last one is statement of fulfillment of the provisions of law. That means the statement in a prescribed form is to be registered before the registrar of companies, stating that all the above legal provisions have been fulfilled for the incorporation of the company. So this is the necessary registration necessary steps to be followed for the incorporations of the company. So there are also necessary registration fees are to be paid along with the above documents, that is memorandum of association and articles of association and the other clauses and the rules and documents. Then after the scrutiny of the above documents, the registrar of companies records in the books of companies if the documents are found satisfactory. The registrar issues a certificate of incorporation after completing this procedure, and the date which is stated in the certificate of incorporation is considered as the date of the commencement of the business. Commencement of the business means starting of the business. So, along with the issue of certificate of incorporation, the registrar of companies allots the corporate identification number, that is also called CIN, to the company. So, along with registration, registrar of companies also give one number, that is corporate identification number, CIN, to the company, which becomes identity of the company, and it is mentioned on the certificate of incorporation. Company has to preserve original documents and statement of information at its registered office till the winding up of the company. So, the private company can also start the business after completion of this procedure, while public company can allot the shares after fulfilling the conditions of minimum subscription through the issue of prospectus. So, this was the procedure for the incorporation of a company. Now, let's discuss about the differences. So, let's first discuss the difference between the partnership and company. So, first there are points of difference given and the difference is given. So, first point is establishment process. So, for the partnership form, easy and voluntary registration, no separate legal entity is needed for the establishment process. But for the company, lengthy and complicated and compulsory registration and separate legal identity is required. The number of members. So, for partnership firm, minimum 2 persons is required, and according to the Companies Act 2013 clause number 464, numbers of partners in partnership firm cannot be more than 100 members, and as per the government decision according to the Companies Act year 2014 clause number 10 miscellaneous rules, number of maximum partners in partnership firm is 50, and for the company, minimum 7 members and the maximum unlimited in public company, whereas for the private company, minimum 2 and the maximum 200 members are required in the private company. Then third one is capital. So for the partnership firm can procure less capital comparatively, and for the company can procure capital on large scale through issue of shares. And fourth point of difference is transfer of part or interest. So, in partnership firm, partner cannot transfer his part or interest without the consent of other partners, whereas in company, members can easily and freely transfer their shares, though there is restrictions on transfer of shares of the private company. Then fifth one is liability. So, in the partnership firm, liability of partners is unlimited, whereas in the company, shareholders are not personally liable for the debts of the company by limited liability. Then sixth one is management. So in partnership firm, partners themselves manage the firm, and for the company, management of company is by directors elected by the shareholders. Then lifespan. So, in partnership firm, dissolution of partnership due to death or insolvency or insanity of any partner, thus life is short. Whereas for the company, existence of company does not end in the circumstances of death, insolvency or insanity of members, thus life is long. Then maintenance of secrecy. So, in partnership firm, secrecy of the business can be maintained, whereas in company form, difficult to maintain the secrecy. Then flexibility. So partnership firm, it is a flexible, and for the company, flexibility is difficult. Flexibility means they cannot change anything, anytime, anywhere. So changing the rules, then the anything change that the company wants to make, that is difficult for the company form organization, and for the partnership it is very flexible. Then 11th is personal contact. In partnership firm, partners can maintain direct contact with employees and customers, and in company, lack of such a personal contact. And for the winding, and the last point is winding up. So for the partnership firm, end of partnership can be as per the contract or the circumstances determined by law or at will of the partners, and for the company, winding up of a company is through fulfillment of law. So this was the difference between the partnership and company. So for you guys, this is very important to know the differences. Now let us look at the difference between the private company and the public company. So points of differences are given in the private company and the public company. So first point of difference is number of members. So in private company, number of member is minimum 2 persons and number of members should not increase more than 200 for the private company, whereas for the public company, minimum member is 7 person and no restrictions on the maximum number. Then transfer of shares. So for the private company puts restrictions on the transfer of shares through its articles, and for public company, transfer of share is easily available. Then invitations to public. So for the private company cannot invite public to subscribe shares or debentures and cannot issue the prospectus, whereas public company can invite public to subscribe into the shares or debentures by issue of the prospectus. Then fourth is one person company. So for the private company can be one man company. One person company can enter into the contract with only one member who is the director, whereas for the public company cannot be a one person company and public company cannot do such contract. The next point of difference is number of directors. So for the private company there must be minimum 2 directors, and for the public company there must be minimum of 3 directors, of whom 1 director must be a woman. Then sixth one is name of the company. So for the private company, private limited words are to be inserted after the name of a private company with limited liability, and the word private in the name of a private company with unlimited liability. So private is very important to insert for the private company, whereas for the public company the word limited is inserted after the name of the public company with limited liability. Then seventh one is articles of association. For the private company, articles of association is to be prepared and get registered compulsorily with the registrar of companies, whereas in public company, model articles stated in Schedule 1 are applicable automatically in case of articles are not prepared. Then next is minimum subscription. So for the private company, the provision of minimum subscription does not apply, and for the public company, the provision of minimum subscription is applicable. And the last point of difference is issue of new shares. So for the private company, issue of new shares can be offered to the persons other than the existing members of the company, whereas in the public company, issue of new shares is to be offered first to the existing members of the company. So these were the differences between the private company and public company, and this is also one of the important difference between private company and public company. So please by heart this difference of the private company and public company. Now let's look at the differences between the cooperative society and the company. So same way point of differences is given. So first one is meaning. So meaning of cooperative society, it is a voluntary association of persons on the basis of equality to improve their economic conditions, whereas the meaning of company, it is a voluntary association of persons to earn profit through legal business. Then motive. So the motive of cooperative society is the main motive is service, economic development and upliftment of members, and the motive of profit is subsidiary. And the main motive of company is to earn profit. Then the third one is number of members. So for the cooperative society, minimum 10 members and no provisions for maximum of members, for the company, minimum 7 members and maximum as many as in the public company, and for the private company, minimum 2 and the maximum number of members up to 200 in the private company. Then process of establishment. So the process of cooperative society is process of establishment is easier than the company, and the process of establishment is lengthy and complicated comparatively in the company form of organization. Then next one is management. So in the cooperative society, management is run in a democratic way, a single vote per member, whereas in company, democratic management is only in the principle. The concept of democracy becomes elusive due to the vote per share. Then sixth one is issue of shares. So for the cooperative society, can issue shares carrying equal rights and the same type, whereas in the company, can issue preference shares in the addition to equity shares. Then seventh one is transfer of shares and the end of the membership. So for the cooperative society, no transfer of shares, and members can bring the end of membership by redemption of shares to the society, whereas in the company, shares can be transferred. Then next one is effects on share capital. So for the cooperative society, reduction in capital fund as the member can redeem the share to the society, and in the company, no alteration in capital fund by the purchase and sale of shares by the members. And the last one is use of profit. So in the cooperative society, the profit is used to give dividend to members and for the benefit of members subject to the provisions of law, whereas in company, some part of profit is distributed as dividend to members. So this was the difference between cooperative society and the company. So with this, now we are done with the chapter number 6. So I want you guys to again go through these points which is given at the end of the chapter, and try to also solve the textbook exercise questions. So from now we are going to stop here. From the next video we are going to start the chapter number 7, that is public sector, private sector and global enterprises. So if you have any questions or any doubts, please feel free to comment below the video. Thank you.